Hi, Windy Dick here. Just a quick technique for fastening small to medium items to a plasterboard stud wall. In this case, it's an IKEA towel rail, which is going up there, though I've done it recently with this also IKEA toilet roll holder, which is reasonably solid, as you can see. Resist the temptation to test to destruction without using any special plasterboard fastenings or drop toggles or what have you, and without finding a stud or fitting a noggin. In fact, with this one, purely by chance, there was a stud behind, but this one I used the dodge that I'll quickly show you. Unfortunately, I can't show you step by step because I don't have the video production facilities. But all it is you choose a screw as chunky as possible, long enough to go through the plasterboard, and it falls through the hole. Here we go. Chunky enough, long enough to go through the plasterboard, and as chunky and with as coarse a thread as possible, and still go through the holes in the fitting. A drill, I used a masonry drill, but an ordinary twist drill will be okay in plasterboard, to drill a pilot hole. Now that drill needs to be nearly as fat as the screw that you're putting it through. Preferably it'll just be a little bit thinner than the threads, so that you will get a bit of grip in the plasterboard. You want to drill a nice big pilot hole, otherwise the plasterboard will scab away as you put the screw in. Now we get to the nitty-gritty. You reinforce the hole with this polyisocyanurate glue. I'm using Gorilla Glue, there's Gator Glue, and most of the non-PVA woodworking glues now are this same material, which is a waterproof curing resin cured by moisture, and it foams and expands slightly. That's the trick. So you drill your hole, which I did a while ago, and then you mist the hole, make it damp with this mister, or you can use just a damp cloth. Normally this glue will be cured adequately by moisture in the air or the wood, what have you, but plasterboard seems such a dry and dusty material. I think it's a good idea to damp it down, mop away any excess moisture. Then I've got the lid on. Beauty of this Gorilla Glue is it's got an applicator just the right size. You squeeze glue into the holes that you've drilled, the pilot holes, so that you don't want too much Gorilla Glue going all over the place, but you want to make sure the holes are filled and there's plenty of glue goes through to the other side. Put a little bit of glue on the thread of the screw, especially the tip. If you put too much on the thread, then it will squeeze out and go all over the place. And then you gently screw it home with your electric drill, your cordless drill set to a minimum torque setting, so that you don't strip the threads. In fact, when I did this, perhaps the hole that I drilled, pilot hole I drilled, was a bit too big. I did strip the threads and the screws didn't grip in the plasterboard at all. And I actually had to get a bit of wood and those step ladders there and hold the screws in position while the glue cured. Now the glue will cure, it sticks like whatever, the glue will cure and expand and reinforce the plasterboard, the dusty, horrible plasterboard, I hate the stuff, round the screw in the hole and give a kind of fairly decent fitting. I don't know how much each screw will hold, possibly 10 kilograms. I've yet to test it to destruction. Then you have to leave it overnight for the glue to cure. You can just see here, I hope, where you can just see the glue has expanded and foamed out. So there will also be a little bit of glue behind there to all help bond it together. But the main action is by reinforcing the hole with resin that the screw goes in. And although the screw was completely loose because the hole was a bit big, it's now firm. And I can now put my towel rail on. Just a little job. It's not going to do all jobs for everything, but it's another tool in the locker, and it avoids using those horrible toggle fastenings or plastic plasterboard fittings that I can never get to work, and you need a thumping great hole in the plasterboard. Also, if it does fail, which I haven't experienced yet, with any luck it should leave a fairly small, neat hole in the plasterboard rather than a gaping ruin. Just a small thing, hope you find it useful. Bye bye.